Now, the end of a Premier League season means two things. A, one of Norwich or Fulham getting relegated from the Premier League. And B, everybody and their nan reacting to their Premier League predictions from the season that has just gone. Well, today, I am your nan. No, that's not quite what I meant. I am everybody, okay? We are reacting to our Premier League predictions from 2021-22, and I've got a pretty bad record with this. Last season, I predicted Sheffield United to finish 10th, and they went down rock bottom, so...
Okay, let's go.
Now, first off, we start in 20th place, and the team that actually finished there is Norwich. I predicted them to finish in 20th, so unbelievable start straight off the bat here. Who am I kidding, man? Everybody knew they were going down. That's what they do. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We actually need, like, a suspension, a timeout for Norwich City. We don't need them back in the Premier League, and then they get battered like 6-0 a few times, and then they go down. Let somebody else have it. I want to see Luton Town in the Premier League instead. In 19th place, Watford. The second most predictable thing for this season, and I predicted them to finish there in my video at the start of the year. Watford especially, they just didn't improve the side enough. Really and truly based on the signings that they actually brought in, because obviously, for those that don't know, most football YouTubers will do their predictions obviously before the season starts, which usually means before the transfer window ends. So a lot of teams will still do a lot of business after our main predictions are done. And Norwich actually brought in quite a few players after I made that video, whereas Watford I don't think particularly did. Based on the signings that they made, I probably would have put Norwich 19th and Watford 20th, but in the end I did manage to get it right. Roy Hodgson is 94, but the damage was already done by that point. So in 18th place were Burnley. Pour one out for my boy Viz here. Now I predicted them to finish in 16th. I think a few people predicted them a little bit higher in the mid-table. I thought they'd be bad, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think they'd be this bad. They looked as if they were basically down ages ago, but then managed to, you know, form some kind of resurgence. Look, listen, when your player pool is restricted to people from the county of Yorkshire and you're based in Lancashire, there's not really much you can do. So Sean Dyche did a heroic job and then got sacked and then went out clubbing the next day. So that tells you all you need to know about the mentality of this club. They did well enough to get to this point, but when your own centre-back is coaching you, you can't stay up, you know? Imagine Liverpool, but Joe Gomez is the manager. It's not happening. It doesn't make sense. In 17th were Leeds United. Now, this is where I've lost a bit of ground. I obviously lost about 2 places on Burnley, but I've lost a total of 5 here because I predicted Leeds to finish in 12th. I just didn't expect them to struggle as much as they did. I think they've been very unlucky with injuries this year. They were playing, honestly, 15-year-olds at one point during the Premier League season, and I actually think that's illegal. So, not only were they breaking the law, but they were struggling to keep any sort of clean sheet. Marcelo Bielsa is sitting on a bucket in a retirement home now, and it's all crazy. But I for one am happy that Leeds ended up staying in the division. I think that the Premier League is better with them, because they're a team that either you can love to hate and, you know, there's a bit of a villain there, or you look at them from, like, the perspective of what they used to be, and they're, you know, they're quite a big club. And they're also exciting, man. Like, at least 50% of their games end, like, 6-4 or something. But yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they maybe lose a big player in the summer, given how much they struggled this year. They just need some squad depth going into next season, man. And a striker that's at least present during the course of the... Where did Patrick Bamford go? On to 16th now, and I really lost some points here, because obviously Everton finished here. Now, the one thing that I've got going for me is that not many other people would have predicted them to finish down there. I actually predicted them to finish in 7th, which in hindsight was kind of dumb. I think when I do these predictions, sometimes I focus a little bit too much on transfers and what happened the year before. Whereas in reality, I should be focusing on the actual just overall squad that I'm looking at. And realistically, Rafa Benitez signing Solomon Rondon and Damari Gray was not going to enhance this football club. So I don't know how I thought they were going to do as well, if not better, than they did the season before. Then again, I still would have looked at their squad and thought maybe you'd finish like 12th. There's no way they should have finished 16th. They underperformed massively. But at least Frank Lampard and his non-fat self now managed to get them into safety. Because now it means we can watch them be shit again in the Premier League next season rather than be good in the Championship. But yeah, overall, massive disappointment for Everton. They needed to stay up really, because they would have been in serious trouble with their finances in the stadium. So yeah, that was pretty do or die for them. We're starting to get into an era I don't care about quite as much, because it's really hard to predict anyway. But in 15th place, we've got Southampton. I actually predicted them to go down. Now, I still maintain that I had a bit of a a strong case for this one, but maybe not quite as strong as I thought. Like, their squad was not as bad as Burnley's come the start of the season. It's just that Burnley never go down, so I didn't think it was possible. The emergence of Armando Broja, though, was just something that I didn't foresee whatsoever. You know, I'm not gonna lie, hadn't seen him play before he went to Southampton, and I don't think many people had, unless you're Albanian, of course, and I'm sure there's a high demographic of you lot. But himself and Shea Adams forming a strong strike partnership at the start of the season basically took them away from any sort of relegation battle before it could start. Livramento's been great for them as well. Secretly, their actual recruitment was really good, even though I thought they had a very bad transfer window at the start of the season, so I will take the L on that one. In 14th place were Aston Villa. I actually predicted them to finish in 10th place. Obviously, this was before they hired Steven Gerrard. This was just based on the signings they had made. Obviously, losing Jack Grealish was probably quite a big thing for them, and it ended up being extremely inconsistent. Like, really, if I was a Villa fan, I'd probably be pretty disappointed with finishing 14th. I know it could have been worse. With the hype that Steven Gerrard got and the hype that's been since he got the job, finishing in 14th seems a little bit underwhelming. But it is what it is. It was a transition season, losing Jack Grealish. They've already made some good signings with Kamara and, of course, Diego Carlos coming in from Sevilla. So I think they'll do fine next season. In 13th place were Brentford. And unlike quite a few, I had high hopes for them. I thought they would finish in 15th, though. So they've actually overperformed. Yeah, like, I thought they had the minerals to stay up. I don't know what it was about them particularly, because their squad was probably only the same real level of strength on paper of, like, a Norwich or a Watford. Honestly, I think it was just Ivan Toney. Like, if you've got a proven goal scorer, it goes a long way in the Premier League. You don't have to have a good defense. Leeds genuinely proved that this year. You can stay up through goals and inshallah, and that's exactly what Brentford had. A lot of inshallah, arguably mashallah. So yeah, big ups to them. I think the likes of Johan Wissa, Norgard, Aya, really unsung heroes for them. And hopefully they'll do some more Moneyball next season. Hopefully Christian Eriksen stays as well. That'd be nice. But, well, they just got to bear in mind second season syndrome. In 12th place, Crystal Palace. I predicted them to finish in 13th. I'm gutted here because I could have actually got a mid-table side correct, but I was one off. Not bad, really. They perennially finish here, so it wasn't a hard one to predict. They had a good sort of summer window as well. Loads of youngsters coming in. The average age of the side went down by at least 14 years. Roy Hodgson left as well, so that brought it down another 36 years in terms of overall staff. Yeah, nah, generally, Patrick Vieira's done a really good job. I think 12th is a great position for them, and they got some really good young players that are going to move them forward. I'm really excited to see the likes of Gurhey, Mitchell, Olise, Mateta, Odson Edouard as well, and see what they do next season. Obviously, losing Conor Gallagher will be pretty big. In 11th place were Newcastle. I had them to finish in 17th place. I did have them staying up, unlike a lot of people, because obviously this was based on the squad they had at the start of the season, and this was pre-takeover. I feel like this is a bit of a free hit, really. I don't think anyone can blame me for getting this wrong, because their circumstances changed quite dramatically during the course of the season. They would have easily gone down if it wasn't for the Saudi investment. But still, Eddie Howe did an unreal job with the tools at his disposal, because you don't just throw money at it and then it works. Otherwise, Man United would have probably finished second in the league. You still have to do a good job management-wise and tactically, and I think he did a good job to bond all those players together. So shouts Eddie Howe. You're a good man. I mean, allegedly. I mean, I don't know. I've never met him, but I assume he is. That aged terribly last time I did that, so I'm not going to do that again. But yeah, no. Good season for Newcastle overall. Just a bit of a difficult one to predict because of the takeover. In 10th place were Wolves. I predicted them to finish in 11th. So once again, only one spot off here. So honestly, at this point, I'm doing all right. You know, I've got Southampton genuinely wrong. I've got Leeds pretty far off, and I've got Everton miles off. But generally speaking, I think those were kind of hard ones to predict. So one off for Wolves is not bad. I think I didn't see them sign particularly anyone by that point in the window. I think after that they signed Hwang after I made that video. So maybe I would have put them 10th if I'd have known he was signing. But either way, that is what it is. Good season for Wolves. Defensively, they're sick. They just need to learn how to score more goals. In 9th position were Brighton. These guys are the mid-table MVPs. I did not expect Brighton to finish in 9th, hence I predicted them in 14th. Maybe I would have predicted them to finish 9th on XG. That's probably even... I probably would have predicted them to finish about 3rd on XG. But they actually delivered. It wasn't just expected goals. It was goals. They did the business. Shouts Danny Welbeck. Maybe you are the future. He's like 43. He's not the future. But either way, yeah, Brighton had a really good season for me. Surprisingly so. I'm actually impressed by them. Again, like, they kind of have, like, chilled out windows. They don't have these explosive windows like a Crystal Palace or whatever, and they still go about their business. I'd like to see what they do next season. Graham Potter is a sensational manager. Overall, the only fraudulent thing about them is their beach is pebbles instead of sand. Like, I can't run, lads. You've got to stop that. If I'm going to the beach and I'm walking to the water and it feels like I'm walking down the pavement, then I'm afraid it's not a beach, bro. That's just a street at that stage. So you've got to sort that one out, lads. In 8th position were Leicester, and I predicted them to finish in the lofty heights of P5, which I understand now was probably a little bit outrageous of me. But again, like, I think they kind of just struggled with Jamie Vardy's injury. James Maddison did a great job to step up for them, but defensively, they were nowhere near as good as they had been. Fofana was injured, of course, for a long time. I think they were unlucky, though I am probably quite lucky here as well, because recently, I think about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they were like 14th in the league. So if they had finished there, I'd have been really, really wrong. As it turns out, I was only slightly wrong. On to 7th position, and I did not do West Ham as dirty as I did in my last prediction, because I had them in 9th place. So I did have them missing out on European football. Obviously, they almost won the flipping Europa League, ending up going out to the eventual winners in the semi-final. But overall, great season for West Ham, finishing in P7, as I mentioned. They'll just be disappointed because I genuinely think they bottled the season at the end. Like, Manchester United were there for the taking. Like, this was not some Tevez, Ronaldo, Rooney, Man United. This is Tevez, Ronaldo, and Rooney, like, as they are now. Wayne Rooney doesn't have the capacity for that anymore. They have a Brazilian footballer called Fred. He was actually good in the second half of the year, but that still can't run. He's not from Brazil. He's from Zimbabwe. So in the end, kind of mixed bag for West Ham fans, I guess. To an extent, they're obviously just going to be... They're just going to be happy with getting into Europe again. Let's be real, because West Ham have been in the mud in recent years. So continuing on a European tour again is something they'll be happy with. It's just a shame that it could have been more. But yeah, I'm sure they'll still be pleased with how the season went overall. Lots of memories, the semi-finals of the Europa League, as I mentioned, and a good squad. They've just got to try and see if they can keep hold of Declan Rice. P6 now, and like Manchester United. Lads, I actually predicted you to finish 4th, and I got a lot of heat for this at the time. Now, I have to remind Manchester United fans, because I don't think they remember themselves. You, man, and a lot of us, in fairness, thought you were going to win the league, yeah? What happened, guys? Come on, let's talk about things here. Because I'm sorry, if you're adding to an already pretty good squad, and yet they didn't sign a central midfielder, they needed to do that. But if you're adding to an already pretty good squad that had done well the season before, with Cristiano Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho, and World Cup winner, Champions League multi-winner, Raphael Varane, you're expecting to challenge for the league. Now, Varane is not the same Varane as he was a few years ago. Jadon Sancho, I mean, he just struggled anyway. And Ronaldo's 37. I do hear that. But expectations were high, and they obviously massively underachieved. I can wholeheartedly say, though, whilst they underachieved, I would like to give them the award for best comedy act of this year. Because hand on heart, I'm not even beefing you anymore. Like, I'm not even getting enjoyment out of saying this. This is just factual information. Manchester United have provided some of the funniest performances I have seen in my whole history of being a football fan. Both games against Liverpool were outrageous. Like, the first game, fam, bro, it was like watching year 7s playing a Premier League football match. But yeah, to be honest with you, I probably could have easily put United maybe 2nd or even 3rd in my Premier League predictions at the start of this season. I'm happy I didn't. I'm happy I put them 4th. Was that out of actual genuine belief they'd finish 4th? Maybe not. Maybe it was biased because it was basically between them and Liverpool as to who I'd put 3rd. And in the end, I chose Liverpool just because I didn't feel like we could finish 4th with a fully fit team like that again. So yeah, in the end, I'm 2 places off. But in terms of actual performance level, you lot need to step it up. In 5th position were Arsenal. I predicted these lot to finish in 8th. If we'd swapped the last season's prediction with the season that's just gone, I would have basically got it bang on both times. Because I predicted them to get in the Champions League last season and they finished 8th. And in this season, I predicted them to finish 8th and they almost got into the Champions League. I honestly think, as much as they bottled the end of the season, it's kind of a similar situation to West Ham. Definitely progression. I'd just be concerned about playing in the Europa League next season. Like, that is gonna... You benefited a lot from playing once a week. And you're not gonna have that luxury this time around, okay? So you're gonna have to bear that in mind. I don't know whether they'll struggle with that. I feel like they might just a little bit. It depends what they do in the transfer window. But I thought all of their signings were pretty astute, even at the time, to be honest with you. I wasn't on the Ramsdale hype, and I'm pretty sure I thought Odegaard was a good sign. Obviously, I still put them 8th, but that's just because they're Arsenal. But yeah, overall, very good and astute transfer business from them for the first time in a while, and definitely building blocks to build on. Mikel Arteta's a bit of a fraud, though, not gonna lie. Don't think you get away with it just because you shop at Zara, bro. In 4th place were their North London rivals, Tottenham. I predicted them to finish 6th. Now, this was obviously under Nuno Espirito Santo at the start of the season. He did not last long. I've genuinely had loaves of bread that lasted lasted longer than Nuno in charge of Tottenham. So again, it's a bit of a skewed one in terms of what I was expecting at the start of the season and who was in charge. I wasn't expecting him to do a good job, hence I was expecting them to finish 6th. I thought he'd last the season, but just take them to 6th place. In the end, they sacked him and brought in Antonio Conte pretty early on. They obviously went out the Conference League very early, which again allowed them to sort of concentrate on the league a bit more. And their comeback in the second half of the season was unreal. I would genuinely tip them to do pretty damn well next season, especially with the amount of money that Antonio Conte's apparently been given. So yeah, I could genuinely see them grabbing like definitely a top 4 finish again next season, maybe even scraping into the top 3. Speaking of the top 3, and in 3rd place were Chelsea. I actually predicted these lot. This is a bit of a howler from me, maybe. I predicted them to win the league. Yeah, I regret that now. I think I was feeling edgy at the time, I'm not gonna lie. I think I made the video and was like, you know what's gonna get engagements? Chelsea winning the league. But I did fully, wholeheartedly believe it could happen, you know, because they'd been so good the season before, and it felt like them adding a Romelu Lukaku and a fully firing Romelu Lukaku as well, one that genuinely had just taken into the Serie A over Juventus, who've been dominating that league for ages. I didn't expect him to be the Manchester United Lukaku again. I thought he'd genuinely be on job this time, and it's not turned out that way. They obviously had some injury issues as well. I think they would have been a lot stronger had they kept James and Chilwell fit the whole season. But overall, 3rd place, not bad, realistically. Good building block again. We'll see what they do in the summer. I think they've got a bit of an issue when it comes to the striking department and what they want to do there. But plenty of good young players and a really good and deep squad too. So yeah, a bit of a howler from me, but I think if Lukaku had actually been the Inter Lukaku, we definitely could have seen that, especially given Liverpool and City weren't that active in the window themselves. On to the final 2 spots, and we all know who came second. Well documented that Liverpool, of course, missed out on the title by at 1 point. I predicted us to finish 3rd, to be honest with you. It's because I thought Chelsea would be very, very strong, and I thought Man City would beat us. I was right about the latter, but Chelsea obviously kind of underperformed quite drastically in comparison to what I was thinking. But yeah, I probably should have had a lot more faith in us, to be honest with you, because we battled back to come 3rd with basically no centre-backs the season before. I think, to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting us to finish 3rd in a mile. I thought it would just be a 3-team battle for the title, really, and I thought we'd finish 3rd out of it. So yeah, not my finest work, I guess, but not too bad overall. Actually, no, I'm waffling. It is bad. We almost won the quadruple, and I predicted us to finish 3rd in the actual domestic league. So yeah, nah, no way. That's pretty poor from myself. But so yeah, nah, I'll take the L on that one. And of course, the title winners were Manchester City. You will probably have been able to work it out by now. I predicted them to finish in 2nd place, and it was basically off the back of them not having a striker. It didn't particularly hurt them, to be honest with you, having no striker. Having missed out on Harry Kane and then missed out on Cristiano Ronaldo, I thought that was going to be a slap to the face they wouldn't recover from. And I imagine if they had Harry Kane, oh my, and now they've got Haaland instead. We're finished next season, by the way. For here and now, at least at this point, yeah, I predicted Man City to come 2nd. Maybe a little bit of a howler. Obviously, Chelsea just kind of let me down in that sense, from a prediction perspective. But Man City are inevitable. Like, they basically rent out the Premier League trophy to the actual FA. I'm just happy they didn't win the Carabao Cup again. That's all I can say on the matter. Pep Guardiola, he is bold, though I can't say that's illegal, actually. He is clean shaven, but he is a Premier League champion again. Shouts to Man City once more. Overall, my predictions not too bad. I think I finished in the top 4 according to Viz's video. He reacted to everybody's Premier League predictions and kind of ranked all of the football YouTubers in the space. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I got into the Champions League, basically, which I to be honest, I'll take. I'm pretty happy with that. Usually I'm down towards the bottom. Not because I've got bad ball knowledge, but I just make like one stupid mistake, like Sheffield United. Or I'd say Bournemouth will finish like 8th and then they get relegated, and it's a foolishness. So that did happen again, really, with Everton, but that was kind of a hard one to predict. It kind of happened a bit with Leeds. Newcastle was impossible to predict. But other than that, I don't think I got anything else drastically wrong. Southampton fans are probably annoyed at me. That was an L for myself as well. And I guess Chelsea winning the league didn't happen. But overall, not too bad. Let me know how you think I did down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, though, feel free to slap a like on it. And, of course, subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is @officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves. And goodbye.